Yeah, so hopefully this will be quick overview of the heroes, their skills, and their animations in the game as well. We're just gonna set this environment to level 1 hero, triple heroes, and 60 seconds. We're not gonna fight for 60 seconds, but this will help us. And we'll start with 2 exclusive heroes. The first one, Yfeir, which is a support exclusive hero. Season 4 exclusive heroes do not have an exclusive artifact. They are our new Elecabres, Berengars, etc. Okay, so Mithras seasons. And so these heroes are centered about PvP, I would say, especially with their auras. So we have 45% crit damage in Gladiator Arena. This hero, Yfeir, is a melee hero. Now his passive, for every 15 times of damage dealt or taken by the hero and his clones as well, they will enter an undispellable invisibility for 3 seconds. A clone will be summoned at the same time. As the battle starts, gain invincibility and summon a clone, up to 5 clones at the battlefield at the same time. So we can't overwhelm enemies with the clones, we can have maximum 5 clones, but every time they attack or take damage, we will, every 15 times, we will enter invincibility for 3 seconds. Now his clones, his battle skill puts a clone near the enemy with the highest attack, deals 300% damage to nearby enemies, and the clone as the center, so that's the center and that's the damage here, and 100% chance to inflict taunt on them for 3.5 seconds, so you can build him with accuracy to use that. Now you also want to build him with accuracy because he applies attack penalty too. He jumps to the target area and deals 640% radiant damage to enemies and 75% chance of inflicting attack penalty that goes to 100% with scrolls. Meanwhile, he gains attack speed too, which increases his attack speed by 50%, that's huge, and enhances his basic attacks for 12 seconds, where the basic attacks deal 75% radiant damage to enemies twice and heal him and all his clones by 5% max HP. So this is how the skills look. First clone gets summoned at the start of the battle, then every time we cast a battle skill, a new clone is summoned that taunts, and we have an ultimate that has a cool animation like all exclusive heroes and deals damage plus attack penalty and give himself attack speed up. So that's him in a nutshell. Looks very powerful in the arena especially, but we'll see if with his kit we can build him as a tank in PvE content as well. So second exclusive hero, Maashtur. He's a defensive hero that has a max HP Gladiator Arena aura. He's got quite a big skill description, and I'll go through that and I'll explain to you what's happening and how to build him briefly. So as the battle starts, he grants Great River's favor to ally with the highest crit damage. The ally under Great River favor gains 10% max shield for 5 seconds when taking damage. And Maashtur takes 60% of that damage instead, which is very good at protecting your squishy damage dealer in the arena. This effect only takes effect once every 12 seconds. When taking damage for the ally, Maashtur recharges his own ultimate energy by 20% and has a 100% chance to inflict taunt on the enemy with the most ultimate energy, counters the damage coming from the enemy team. And if his HP is higher than enemies, the debuff inflicted cannot be resisted, so he doesn't need accuracy as long as his HP is higher than the one of the attacker. His battle skills deal damage based on attack and max HP to enemy with the most ultimate energy and reduce it by 20%. And if the enemy ultimate energy is still higher than 50%, there is a 100% chance to inflict stun on them, which means they can't regenerate any more energy. If Maashtur HP is higher, he doesn't need any accuracy because his skill cannot be resisted. Afterwards, Maashtur and the ally under Great River favor will choose this enemy as the target to attack. Ultimate is really powerful. It is a single target though, so he strikes the enemy 3 times. Mostly it will be the hero in front of him. However, it can also be the hero targeted by the battle skill because he will change this target to the hero with the most ultimate energy. He strikes enemy 3 times, dealing the attack damage and max HP damage, and the first strike will inflict attack penalty, the second recharge speed penalty, and third will do accuracy penalty. Now again, if his HP is higher than the enemies, this can't be resisted, so you don't need to build him with accuracy. On top of that, he grants the team control immunity and crit hit resistance. Crit hit resistance is a new buff that increases the chance of resisting crit damage by 50%. And that is granted to all allies. Now, if the enemy is defeated or possesses 3 or more debuffs, he grants a 12% HP shield to all allies under Great River favor. He's amazing tank. I mean, powerful in arena, I would say. I don't play PvP, but he is looking like a really solid meta tank. And you'll see his animation in action. So as you can see, he's granting this buff here to the ally, and that's his animation. Again, amazing one. Right, as you can see, 3 debuffs on a single target and granting shield to the ally in the back. So the next hero, Paixton, is a burn hero that is based off enlightenment, and he's got 90 enlightenment aura in City of Trials, which is Feymander and Pillars. His passive deals fire damage to nearby enemies, and you can see the range here, every 3 seconds with 75% chance that goes to 100% to inflict burn on them. So very good. When any target is inflicted with burn, the hero gains morale up to 20 stacks. When possessing 20 stacks, grant 20 stacks of morale to all burn allies. And morale increases attack by 1%. So he gives 20% attack to all burn heroes. And when they are inflicted with burn, that means also other sources like your enablers like Beaks, Carve, whoever applies burn, he will get that morale. So it stacks faster and gives 20% attack to burn heroes. Amazing. Deals 230% plus 3000 enlightenment fire damage to nearby enemies. Again, a range around him. When hitting enemies with burn, next battle skill recharge time is reduced by 50%. This will hit constantly. This will hit enemies with burn that are burned constantly, reducing this by 50%. Because that's how burn team works, right? The target will be burned constantly. Then we have the Demon Flame, which is his ultimate, and he deals 450% attack. That's not much to all enemies, but it's a whole map area, as you can see, with 75% chance to inflict burn. Again, goes up to 100. And when hitting enemies under burn, he deals additional 600% derivative fire damage. So that's where the scaling is. So this is the one that I'm looking forward, and he's got black smoke coming out of his head. In here we have a white smoke, but let's look at his skills in action. So we'll start with the battle skill and etc. So battle skill hits, the enemies are burning, so we're gonna hit again, and the enemies are still burning, so we're gonna hit again. That is a lot of burn that can be applied, because remember, he can apply burn as well. And this is his ultimate. Just look at this. Bang. That's amazing. This is the hero I want just for the pure looks of it. Okay, so the next burn hero, Majtan, from the cat family, I would say. And he's got an aura, again, Grand Gladiator Arena. So yeah, PvP. When you see a PvP-oriented aura, basically means this hero was designed kind of for the PvP rather than anything else, but you can obviously use him elsewhere. And we have double burn description. Obviously, this should be changed once we get this hero in the game on global. So he's passive. He deals fire damage to all enemies as the battle starts, with 100% chance of inflicting free burn. So that's like Durango, I would say. When burn inflicted on any enemies expires or is dispelled, which means Ascetius does basically expire the burns because he uses it, or dispel through other means, the hero gains 1 stack of Sparkle, and up to 30 stacks can be there. For each stack of Sparkle, the hero gains damage reduction, so that adds up to 15%, while the hero skills ignore 3% of the target defense. Now, 0.5% damage reduction, so that's 15, but 30 times 3, that's 90%. That is a lot of the target's defense, unless this is something shady there, but we'll test it. There is a 60% chance for basic attacks to inflict burn for 5 seconds. Oh wow, single target, this is quite high. This is quite high chance of applying burn here again. So we got more ways to apply burn. So those who are lucky and get these legendary heroes, they can forget about Pigs existing, basically, the cool rare hero. His battle skill, okay, so he gains 25% max HP healing. So he heals himself, okay. The enemy who possesses the most stacks of burn grants the same amount of sparkle to the hero, up to 5 stacks, so basically 5 stacks maximum. And then the hero deals 500% fire damage to enemy with the most stacks of burn. Okay, so that's actually quite good, and PvP wise this makes sense. He heals himself, he applies sparkles, and deals damage to enemy with the most stacks, which means it can be someone in the backline as well. It doesn't have to be the front line. His ultimate deals 620% attack fire damage, run himself basically. If enemies possess burn, he gains additional 20% attack up. And the burn inflicted by fire in stone ignores resistance in the next 15 seconds. So the burn applied through this, basically through this, through the basic attacks. So that's it. That's the hero. Let's look at his skills in action. So that was the first skill, the passive, broken. Here we are attacking the hero with the most. Okay, so that's around him, so not really great targeting. And there we go, and attack up, and we have the 8 stacks of sparkler already, 13, 17, so as you can see, it goes up rather quickly. It goes up to 30 stacks maximum. So the first frost hero, well, support ice hero, Feliciberta, gladiator arena aura, again, attack. As the battle starts, inflicts Datura mark on the enemy with the highest attack. When the enemy under Datura mark dies, reselects the target. That makes sense. When enemies under Datura mark gain a buff, reduce the recharge time of the hero's battle skill by 20%. Interesting, battle skill. And the hero recharges ultimate energy by 20%, and it takes effect only once every 5 seconds. Her battle skill moves to the enemy with the highest attack, assassin, basically prioritizing that. Same like Questa, she's an assassin, really. Removes their shield and steal 1 buff from them. Dealing 200 attack and 200 enlightenment attack, nice. This skill ignores 50% of the enemy resistance when hitting enemies under frozen. So finally we got some frozen combo synergy. The hero steals their shield instead of removing it. Okay, she deals, with ultimate, she deals damage based on attack and enlightenment, but really low enlightenment scale in here, to enemies within range with a 75% chance of inflicting frozen on them for 5 seconds. This effect ignores 20% of resistance, so we need less accuracy. The frozen inflicted by this skill also blocks the enemies from resurrecting upon their death. That's good. That's what you need on Arena, but nothing spectacular really. However, keep in mind Questa is also an assassin, and she can do a lot of damage, right? So don't get confused by developers giving these heroes a support role. Okay, we know some supports like Sigrid as well can do a lot of damage. They just don't really go under any of the damage schools, but this is a PvP oriented hero again. Now, one of the heroes that I am looking forward to is Miro, an Ice Blast hero. I don't have Beldel, so I'm looking for more Ice Blast damage options. Now, his passive, if the hero possesses ice crystals after releasing the battle skill, he consumes 1 stack of crystal and release the battle skill again. That's the Ice Blast mechanic. When attacking enemies, every stack of map pin the hero has grants the current attack extra 20% crit damage. And when attacking enemies with full stack of map pins, ignore 60% of their defense. And the map pin stacks up to 5 times. The hero basic attacks will attack enemies with the most map first. His battle skill deals 300% single target cold damage and inflict 1 stack of map pin of them, so we can really stack it quickly. Deals 800, that's huge scale in there, 810 single target damage to enemy, and converts 25% of the damage dealt to hero's HP, so basically healing it. Every stack of map pin on the enemy increases the conversion ratio by 5%, so you can even get to 50%. Wow, okay, that's cool. We can use him as a range tank. I'm expecting him to be range, but just to show his skills, let's bring in someone who can apply ice crystals as well. So we'll use Sheena to give him a lot of ice crystals, and you'll see that the pins that he apply do not actually disappear. So as you can see, he targeted this dummy in the back with the pin, and next time he does it, he's going to cast it again. At the moment, Sheena does not apply a lot of crystals. Now she will. So, you know, he will be doing more pins, but he doesn't spread them around. But they are constantly there, and we can use the ultimate as well. Obviously, you want to target the enemy with the most pins with the ultimate to deal the most damage. So the next hero might remind you of some Resident Evil monsters. Perseus, which is a support again, but don't get confused, some support heroes can deal damage. He increases all allies' HP by 30% in all battles, so useful aura. Well, obviously damage one is more useful, but at least we can use it somewhere. Basic attack deal damage twice. When dealing damage to enemies with skills, there is a 100% chance to inflict falling poison up to 30 times. Each stack decreases attack and attack speed by 1%, so we can decrease the attack by 30% and attack speed by a little bit more. That is really powerful. I wonder how significant that is against bosses. Obviously, attack speed does not matter when it comes to bosses, but the attack, that's interesting. Deals 100% necrotic damage to nearby enemies 4 times, that's battle skill, and reduce their ultimate energy by 25%. Now, sadly, I can't really test it here against dummies because they don't regenerate energy, but I wonder if it's 4 times 25 or just once. Then we have stunned, ultimate predation, rushes to enemy and strikes them 12 times. I think this is the most any hero can do, each dealing 70% attack. There is a 100% chance to dispel all buffs from them, with 75% chance to inflict stun on them, and 75% to inflict buff prohibition, and I guess this goes to 100% with scrolls. Yes, it does. The hero gains 30% healing simultaneously, so he heals for 30% damage, 30% max HP. The enemy's HP limit will be reduced by 20% of the damage dealt, but no more than 40% of the enemy's max HP. So the maximum we can reduce the HP limit is by 40%. This does not work on the bosses. Good. The enemy with the highest attack will be attacked first. So there is a little bit help there when it comes to auto attacking. And let's see these skills in action. This is one of the heroes I was looking forward to. So his battle skill hits 4 times, but sadly we won't be able to see that, right? But it applies 4 stacks as well. So we can really apply these stacks rather quickly, just 2 battle skills. But this is a single target skill, so let's cast it here. And we go to 20 stacks straight away, so we can really stack it up quickly and get rid of these pesky damage dealers on the enemy team. So before we move to the next hero, let's look at him in action against the Temporal Vortex boss. We're getting 497 hit on the first skill. We're going to apply this attack down on the boss with attack speed as well. Attack speed doesn't really matter, but look at this. Boss is gaining 5% attack damage. 5% damage. And he's doing less damage with this skill because we apply so much. Now, if we go over this rotation once more, we'll see that the damage drops even more because we are now at 30 stacks. And the boss damage from the first skill is at 399. So Necrosis also get healer. The healer that is similar to Thorin, but works in a different way, kind of. So Astaion, she brings a arena defense aura. Her passive at the start of the battle, she has a 100% chance to inflict silence for 10 seconds on the nearest enemy, which will be someone in her line of sight, and steal 30% of their HP and 30% of their defense. This, most of the cases, will be a tank, so that will be a lot of HP and defense being stolen. 50% of the stolen attributes will be transferred to the ally with the highest attack, making your squishy, the Asphalta, for example, in your shadow team, a force to be reckoned with. HP stolen should not exceed 100% of target max HP, obviously. Now, her battle skill, this is quite hard to pull off because it's not versatile. It will hit like Filto's ultimate, so you can avoid it easily. This will deal 300% attack damage to enemies within range with 50% chance to inflict stun for 3 seconds and grant crit hit resistance to the ally with the highest attack. Okay, so again, boosting the survival of that highest attack ally, and the hero recharges ultimate energy by 5% upon hitting one enemy. We move forward to the ultimate, which is an AoE again, and she summons a domain that lasts for 10 seconds at the target location, dealing damage to enemies every second. Now, she also heals all allies simultaneously every second. 3.5% time 10, so that's 35%, right? So 1 second, 10 seconds, 10 times, 35% max HP to all allies. When enemies within range gain a buff, there is a 40% chance to replace the buff with a random debuff, and that's the list of the debuffs. So 4 very useful debuffs in PvP. So let's see how her skills look in action. $471. What is this? It doesn't show here. So it might be a little bit bugged here. I think that's how much HP or whatever we got. We given to Perseus here. As you can see, that's the aura, okay? We can see this little red zone that will apply all of that stuff. So Shahla Aura Hero, new Aura Hero addition to the new damage type that we got in Season 3, increases all allies attack by 30% in all battles, very useful aura. She enters a blaze like all other Aura heroes, and when Aura allies consume Aura energy, recharges 5% ultimate energy, and grants 1 stack of crit damage up to the Aura ally with the most attack. And Shahla herself up to 20 stacks. This effect can only be triggered once every 5 seconds, so we're gonna test her with Amon Lydia or someone like that. Gain 15 Aura energy and deals radiant damage to the enemy and nearby enemies. The hero gains extra 10 energy when hitting only one enemy, so that's very good against single target bosses, which are plenty. While in the blaze state, consume 5 energy and deal additional 4% target max HP, but no more than 200% attack. So again, capped by attack, so that means it's not gonna do a lot of damage. The hero gains 30 aura energy and releases an energy wave that can bounce between enemies up to 4 times. Each bounce deals 350 attack. If the energy wave does not bounce after being released, 40% of the consumed ultimate energy will be returned. So that's quite important, because if there's a single target, some heroes have these bounce skills, the skill doesn't bounce, it only hits once. In her case, if it doesn't bounce, if it is a single target only, she will recover 40% of that energy, which means she can hit faster, so we don't want to time her. While in the blaze state, consumes 20 aura energy to deal 5% target max HP. This is not capped. It is not capped, and the number of bounces is increased to 6 times. If it's not capped, this can do a lot of damage, so we'll see. Now let's look at this hero skills in action. So yeah, she's range, sometimes we don't know. But I don't think the skills are like spectacular. So the skill is going to bounce, right? It only bounces 4 times. If we were in a blaze state, it will bounce 6 times. So that's the big difference. Yeah, she's getting energy quite quick. And let's see that. That's the battle skill. And let's see the skill bouncing again. So when there's only one enemy, the skill should not bounce. She should recover 40% of the energy, as you can see. So let's go over the skills of the new Thunderbolt hero, Orfenna. She is enlightenment based. She provides an enlightenment aura in all battles as well. When she deals damage to enemies with basic attacks, she has a 75% chance to refresh the electrocuted and launch Thunderbolt once. So this will do a lot of damage, by the way, this triggering Thunderbolt. Strikes the enemy 3 times, each dealing some attack damage and having 60% chance of inflicting electrocuted. And when enemies are under electrocuted, this damage ignores 30% of their defense. Next is enters the Overlord states and gain attack speed. 50% attack speed for 15 seconds. That is a huge duration, by the way. And while in the Overlord state, basic attacks can shoot 2 extra bullets to deal 300 lightning damage, with each bullet prioritizing different targets. So this also helps with AoE, but also single target, and synergizes well with this passive skill. So her damage will be coming from the auto attacks mostly, which makes sense. And maybe the new attack speed set will work, but look at this. There's no animation whatsoever. That doesn't look good. Look at that. She's standing in place, not casting, nothing. But we can see this is basically Farival 200. Okay, so we got Farival here. A lot of electrocuted damage coming through her. Sadly, they need to fix this animation. So next, poison hero, poison support, Halramar. Resistance aura in all battles. He even looks like Ogok a little bit, at least not the face wise, but equipment wise. At the battle start, summons Dark Cloud. Halramar cannot gain extra attack speed, but Dark Cloud will launch additional attacks following Halramar's basic attack. The Dark Cloud has 10% chance of inflicting buff prohibition on enemies for 5 seconds. The chance of inflicting buff prohibition by Dark Cloud depends on Halramar's resistance, so you want to build him with resistance. Every resistance increases the chance by 1%. When Halramar is on the battlefield, enemies' ultimate energy obtained through skills and artifacts will be reduced by 80%. Oh wow, that's a counter to your Megan teams. And Dark Cloud, this is the Dark Cloud, it's a bird. Deals 100% attack following Halramar's basic attack. So we'll see if this, well, we can't see it now, but we'll see it later on if this can die and be revived or something. Command Dark Cloud to deal 350% attack damage to enemy with the highest attack with chance to apply attack penalty 2 on them, and 100% chance to inflict Oriented Taunt. Oriented Taunt is this unit is forced to launch basic attacks on the enemy with the highest max HP. So taunted and move to the tank instead of the bird. Deal 700 poison damage to all enemies and 75% chance of inflicting recharge speed penalty. And Oriented Charm on them for 10 seconds. Oh wow, the enemy's ultimate energy will be reduced. Really good control support. I mean, we're getting rid of enemies' buffs by buff prohibition. We're removing, we're basically taunting them to attack the enemy with the highest max HP, which is our tank, obviously, and we give them a recharge speed penalty and reduce their ultimate as well. Seems really powerful. Let's see it in action. So this is the bird. Okay, so the bird is not moving. The bird stays here and looks like the bird is not targetable as well. So there's no way of him dying. And it's amazing. It's a range support that will help us tremendously in PvP. I think maybe in PvE as well. So I left Calavera for last. Calavera is going to be available in the Continental Chief Challenges like Ardref, Yfeir and other heroes, so everyone will have chance to obtain her. And when I read her skills previously, she was amazing. She looked amazing, so let's read through that again. When she casts a skill, temporary illusion is briefly generated at the hero's location. She's melee, so in front. This illusion will follow the hero as they cast and produce additional effects. Now her battle skill around her, and she's melee again, dispels 1 debuff from each nearby ally and grants recovery over time. Illusion spell casting has a 75% chance to dispel 1 buff from each nearby enemy with a 50% chance to inflict charmed on them. Her ultimate is a whole field and heals all allies by 550 defense. That is a scale and worth of Garius. And grants them defense up 2. During the skill leak, I think it was defense up 1, right? As you can see, defense up 1, defense up 2. So I'm expecting defense up 2, but we'll see defense up 1 or defense 1. Defense 2 once the hero releases. I'll ask that question as well. Illusion spell casting deals damage to all enemies and apply attack penalty on them. That looks really powerful. Like really powerful ultimate. And let's see that in action. Very, very good. Scaling staff like on Garius will work wonders with her, will also give us a lot of damage. As you can see, the recovery over time is also helpful. It's common on battle skills, so we can even consider if you're gonna use her on Vortex, we can consider using a horn on her to boost the damage of the whole team, or the staff to boost to give us that extra shield from the ultimate as well. Plus we got the attack penalty, a very good jack of all trades, I would say. And that's it. That's the all heroes covered, all the legendary heroes covered. I will cover the epic heroes in the next video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, please click the like button and consider subscribing to my channel. As always, thank you for watching. Stay safe. Bye.